There comes a time in every nail technician's career in which he or she must learn the delicate process of freehand painting. This advanced technique is the most technically challenging in the nail art practice, but it's also one of the most rewarding. For some people, becoming proficient at freehand painting takes time, but once mastered, it becomes second nature. By carefully studying every design that you plan to undertake before you attempt to execute it, you will slowly begin to see the pieces coming together, and it won't seem that complicated after all. If you need extra help, I would strongly recommend that you consider going to a freehand painting course. This is the fastest way to learn the basics of this technique and to start down the road to being an expert nail artist. You may also find it helpful to start with simpler designs first and then slowly work your way up to the tougher ones. This poppy flowers design is really the perfect place to start. Once you've mastered this one, you can start experimenting with more difficult cutting-edge designs. We'll get started with this poppy flowers design in just a minute. Since it doesn't require any straight lines or tight angles, it should be a pretty simple pattern to follow. Just remember to keep your movements as natural as possible. Splendid! Now let's get down to it. What you'll need: 3 liners, black, red and white. Top coat, skill level beginner. Technique, hand painting. Step 1. First, let's take the red liner and paint an organic-looking 5-leaf flower head. The petals don't need to be symmetric. In fact, it's better off if they're not. Now that you've created the flower head, try to give it a little more depth by making lines from the edge of the flower to the center with quick short motions. This should cause the paint to rise off of the surface of the nail slightly, creating a more dynamic effect. Step 3. Now, use a black liner to paint 2 small lines on each leaf, making 10 lines in total. Step 4. Now you can use the same black liner to create a stem from the edge of the flower head to the tip of the nail. This line should be slightly jagged rather than straight, lending it a more natural look. If you'd like, try painting the stem in green liner instead of black. Step 5. Next, use the dotting tool with white polish to make between 4 and 6 small dots at the center of the flower head. Step 6. Sometimes, in order to give this design some additional life, I like to paint a second flower next to the first with a head that's just beginning to bud. To do this, you will first paint a second black stem with a downward curving top. Step 7. Next, paint a small red bud at the tip of the stem. Step 8. To keep the design protected, apply a top coat over the entire nail. And voila! You're finished! I usually like to leave half or more of the nails blank with a simple French manicure. This tends to look more graceful than a completely filled-in design. Just paint flowers on 4 or 5 of the nails.